Hi friends, and thank you for joining me here at Not Toxic Home. I'm glad you're here. I am recording this video as quickly as I possibly can because I wanted to get this answer out there and this information out there as quickly as I could, and that's in regards to rubberwood. Now, rubberwood is simply the wood that is from the natural rubber latex tree. So if you have a latex allergy, should you avoid rubberwood? If you don't want to get a latex allergy, should you avoid rubberwood? Well, these are really good questions. And now it's really difficult to obtain factual, actual information online these days, especially when it comes to natural rubber latex, because that monolithic corporation that produces over 40,000 different products that contain natural rubber latex, well, there's a whole lot of money there, friends. And where there's money, there's control. They can control the narrative, they can control media and, different sites, which I won't mention any that are alleged to share truth. They also have a big impact on people who are in the natural living, natural health sphere who have conflicts of interest because not only are they basically just repeating information derived from natural rubber latex industry, but they are also trying to sell you products made of what? Natural rubber latex or otherwise derived from it, such as engineered wood or rubber wood. So I understand the issue. I apologize, I'm not really great at holding the camera and talking, but I understand and appreciate the difficulty in figuring out what's true and what's a lie, because it is very difficult. Now, I have a video up about basically how science is no longer scientific, and that video, I think it's called, Why is No One Talking About This? So if you go to the peer-reviewed journals, there just isn't much information about rubber wood online. And if you go to some wood databases online, they will state often that rubberwood specifically is a sensitizer. Now, there are other woods that are sensitizers as well, such as cedar, and I want to say redwood is, but don't take that definitively because that's just off the top of my head. But that's just an example. Cedar is also sensitizing. And a sensitizer basically means that if you are exposed to that product repeatedly, eventually you will develop an allergy to it. And so rubberwood is typically classified as such on websites or databases that specifically address the different properties of wood. And I appreciate those databases greatly. They really helped me to narrow down what wood to even test when it came to building our healthy home, because I was so sensitive to everything at the time. We actually ended up building out of cedar and poplar. But that is neither here nor there. Rubberwood in and of itself is simply the wood from the natural rubber latex tree. As such, it has some of those same proteins. I don't see how it possibly couldn't, right? Now, as I've already mentioned, science is no longer scientific, and there just isn't much as far as the peer-reviewed journals go on this topic. But fortunately, you and I can be of sound mind and use our understanding and knowledge and wisdom for our own health and benefit. And if you take a peanut, for example, and you put it in an oven and it dries it out, and then you take it out of the oven, should someone with a peanut allergy eat that peanut? Of course not. They shouldn't even be around it. I mean, they shouldn't even be in the house, most likely, because a lot of people who have peanut allergies are also airborne anaphylactic, like so many of us with latex allergies, such as myself. The same can be said of rubberwood. Rubberwood is usually kiln dried. Now that just means it basically goes into an oven and it's baked and then it's taken out. The purpose of kiln drying is to kill some bacteria and mold in some cases, but it's generally just to make it so that the product that is removed from the kiln is stable, dimensionally stable. That means that when it is used to build something, it doesn't warp. And it stays in how you want it to stay, basically. And also another reason to kiln dry wood is that it also removes the moisture. And by removing the moisture, then the mold doesn't really have as much of an opportunity to get a hold on the wood and basically destroy the wood itself. So that's the purpose of kiln drying, and that's kiln drying in a nutshell. So kiln drying obviously isn't going to make something that is rubber wood no longer rubber wood. It's still going to be rubber wood, which means that if you have a latex allergy, you might not only react to it, but it could worsen your allergy, and most likely will worsen your allergy, just like anything else derived from natural rubber latex. Natural rubber latex is weird, friends. It's not like other allergies. If you're around natural rubber latex, the more you are exposed to it, the more likely you are to develop an allergy. And once you have the allergy, if it's a type 4, basically annoyance allergy, eventually, when it switches to type 1, your life will never be the same, friends. I wish someone had told me that, but no one did. I had no idea. And of course, the doctors just didn't know either, unfortunately. And a lot of allergists are simply utterly clueless about this, unfortunately, which makes it really hard. Now, I hired and fired more allergists than I can count over the years, because hardly anyone just has the slightest understanding of latex allergy, and that's really problematic, especially considering 2020 and everybody walking around in masks and gloves that are derived of latex. So that's the next coming epidemic, friends, unfortunately. But should everyone avoid rubberwood? Is it safe in general for people who are not immunocompromised or don't have a latex allergy? I would say no. Personally, that's my personal opinion. As always, this is not medical advice. Consult your doctor. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent, mitigate, or otherwise address any symptoms or diagnoses under the sun. Gotta cover my butt there. So I hope this answers the question about rubberwood. I don't remember if there are any other questions about it or not. And I completely understand about, it's just so hard to find actual information and to dig through the corporate propaganda, because there's so much of it online, especially these days. I highly recommend switching from Google to DuckDuckGo or some similar alternate search. But even so, it can still be difficult to ascertain what is true and what's corporate propaganda. So it's important just to exercise some logic and to think for yourself, because if you are letting others think for you, you're probably going to have some problems. And now I did that. I trusted the experts. That's what I was taught to do. I trusted the experts for 30 years, and it nearly killed me. And then it almost killed me hundreds more times, because I've had to use hundreds of epinephrine auto-injectors. I was not this sensitive to chemicals and food and everything in the world until the latex allergy switched from type 4 to type 1, and then all heck broke loose in my life. So if you are able to avoid any sources of natural rubber latex, I highly recommend it. Natural rubber latex in and of itself is in fact toxic, even though it has a word natural in it, doesn't mean it's truly natural. I have a video up on this topic. It's literally called Is Latex Toxic? I think it's what it's called. I'll link to that as well. Hopefully that helps. Thanks so much for being here, friends. I really appreciate it when you comment and like, because that tells the robots that this is good information. Always drop a comment on our website, on any blog post. I do keep up with those. I try to keep up with emails when we get questions like this. I apologize, I am behind. I'm generally behind in that because I am still working on healing myself. And, we're building a tiny home, and I've got chickens and garden and all of those things, all of the things, friends. So thanks so much for being here, friends. Have a most beautiful and blessed day.